Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to my fitness channel, and since this is my first video, do let me know in the comments if you liked it, if there's anything I could improve, if you would like a little bit more detail about anything that I'm talking about, for future videos. I would appreciate it, guys. So today I want to talk about plyometrics, and I want to start this off with a little anecdote about my personal life. When I was 20 or so years younger, I played on a very competitive soccer team. It was proper amateur, I got paid, I was drafted and so on and so forth. And so we go through preseason, 6 weeks, you do a lot of running, forest runs, 10k, 15k runs, you do a lot of ball drills of course as well. The gist here is that I didn't miss a single practice. I did every run, I did every sprint session, I did everything, every time something and anything was going on. So I had a lot of talent, a ton of talent, but over the course of the 6 weeks of preseason, I noticed that while I was getting better, I was getting a little bit stronger, a little bit faster, I could run for longer as well, but I noticed that I was kind of dragging behind. People doing the same amount of exercise started to just develop further and further, get stronger, being able to run longer and so on and so forth, and I was kind of lagging behind, and the gap seemed to get bigger and bigger. So longer story short, after a season on that team and then another season got drafted somewhere else, I kind of call it quits with my professional aspirations. Talent wise maybe I could have done something, but physically I was just not strong enough. So then about 15 years later, I'm interested in fitness. I was also a championship winning tennis player, and I really like lifting weights. Running, still not so much. But 15 years later I then go and get my personal trainer certificate and learn about a lot of things, right? About how the muscles work, how you can train them properly, how they fire, what you can do, nutrition and these kind of things. But the one segment that I was really interested in was the plyometrics and how it can affect your physical ability on the field, whichever field you are on. And so I went through a training regimen that I set up myself, and some of the exercises you can see here in the background, just for a little bit of fanfare. So I started exercising specifically with plyometrics in mind, not necessarily what would I do on a soccer field solely, which is running and jumping and so on, but kind of growing this a little bit bigger, more jumping, more twisting, a lot of lunges, deep lunges, a lot of squats, squat jumps and so on and so forth. And I wanted to test out how that actually at that point, I was 35, 36, 37, at that age, how that affects me, how that is still going to affect me on the field. I was relatively fit at that point. I did a lot of running, but I noticed that my energy kind of ended at minute 60, 65, 75 or so, and I was just done for. I put my effort in as I feel, but at the latest at about minute 75, I was just done for. I was knackered. I had to come off, shut myself off, because just nothing was in the tank anymore. So I started this training regimen of plyometrics, of jumping, lunging and whatnot, and I noticed even after a few weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, adding to my normal exercise regimen, which was running and some weightlifting, I noticed that I had more energy. I was a little bit faster. I had more energy, sprinting with the ball up the field, and then still having the mental capacity of placing the ball, top corner obviously, but having the mental and physical ability and capacity to still finish something off that, a couple weeks, 3 weeks before I wasn't able to. So I continued my regimen and just went for a couple months, 3 months, 4 months until the end of the season, and I noticed that I grew stronger and faster. But the biggest thing was that I could finish 90 minutes at a pretty high level. Sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but I felt like I put the same effort in as before. However, I had the extra 20 minutes, the extra 15 minutes in there, finished off strong, did the sprints, until the last minute, and was really good to go. And so it improved overall it improved my performance on the field. I scored a little bit more assists. I helped the team out more sprints. One thing that I want to add to this is, after I saw the successes within my own capacity, I kind of took my learnings to my soccer team, and during the next preseason I showed them, and I trained with them, I exercised with them. Every time before practice we did 20 minutes, 15 minutes, depending on what it was, just some jump training, some plyometrics, and we had some some old geezers there. So I introduced some of these exercises, and they asked me, okay, a lunge, a squat jump, what does that have to do with soccer? What does that have to do with my performance on the field? And so I had to explain to them a little bit, we didn't have a lot of time, and they only cared this much as well about the science behind it, is that on the soccer field, on the hockey field, on the basketball court, you're not just running straight. Even though historically, that's, at least for soccer, that's the main variant of exercise. You run. How often do you really just run straight at the normal pace? Okay, you're doing a sprint and so on, right? How often do you jump? You go for a header. You do the dribblings, you turn, you twist, you lunge, you go down, you fall down, you get up, you sprint again. All of this is being exercised with the plyometric. Every little twist, every little move, the balance on one leg, jumping from one leg to the other leg. These kind of things is what you 100% employ on the field, whichever field it is, once again. And all these kind of things are going to help you. It's going to train the muscle to fire in certain ways. It's going to help you stabilize the muscles, the movements, the explosiveness, getting into a position, getting out of it, wasting less energy, getting strong in all these movements. So all of these things are going to help you on the field. Try it out, have a look around, find an exercise regimen that works for you, for your time, for your age, for your purpose a little bit as well. And then go ahead, do this for a couple of weeks, for a few weeks. I would recommend at least twice a week so that your body gets into the notion of, learning, progressing over time as well, and see how it really affects your performance on the field. And if you do that, let me know in the comments, because I'm really curious if it's working for you. It worked truly for me. And with that, guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening to me. Let me know again in the comments what you think, and I hope to see you soon. Bye now.